Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Monday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe for the Believe Entertainment Network at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. Okay. It's been a minute, I guess. So,
a little while.
Well, some news. You know, searching for coaches and whatnot. I'll start with Brian Blair had his press conferences and interview. Well, his press conference and interview with Matt Park here a few days ago. Seems like a capable guy, in my opinion. He's got all the accolades. Granted, it's Toledo, and I mean, you can take that for what it's worth, but seems to have built something over there that definitely worked for that team in his 4 years, or worked for that school in his 4 years there compared to the last 10. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you listen to the press conference, I mean, his accomplishments over there is a long list, and you know, it says a lot. I like, you know, one of the things that stuck out to me from the press conferences was you know, improving what they have with what they've got in regard to the JMA Wireless Dome, right?
Right.
Make it what it can be and set the expectations. And he put a lot of that on the fans. So, you know, we always knew it was on the fans. But at the end of the day, it's all bluster to me, Joe, and I'm not trying to be negative, but it's just all bluster to me. I'm at the stage in life where when I hear people that are supposed to say all the right things actually do them. So I'm in the show me state. Okay, what is the show me state?
Yeah,
is that Mississippi, Missouri? Okay, I knew it started with an M. Well, yeah. I'm in that state of my life. Show me, okay? I mean,
Actions speak louder than words.
Actions speak louder than words, and you know, all the moxie with the press conference, and you know, the interview was good as well. I just, you know, I got to see something, and it seems to me, Joe, that this guy does know what he's doing. I like him. My first impression of him during his press conference, you know, like I said, you know, you got time to prepare these things. You got people to help you with them. And,
who's not going to say the right thing at a press conference?
Exactly. So you just got to go out and execute, right? What's put in front of you. But, Joe, your first impressions of Brian Blair, and by the way, a young dude. I don't know how old he is. He's younger than me.
Well, apparently he played against Fran Brown.
Well, there you go.
I saw a press conference with, you know, because spring ball started and Fran Brown said something about, you know, he got asked about the new AD, and he said, yeah, he's like, I like him. I know him. He's a good guy. They played against each other. He actually said, you know, we played against each other in college. I think he played for, I want to say Wofford.
Yeah.
Wofford,
like Wofford, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, you know, he's 0-2 against me. So,
Fran Brown said that.
Yeah. Yes. Western Carolina beat him.
He would.
2 times. Yeah, of course he would. But yeah, I mean, my first impression is the fact that obviously young guy, hopefully he's a guy that
relatable.
Exactly. And also too, that he actually had a prior, you know, AD spot and job before he actually got, I mean, people have to understand, like Wild Hack, I don't think he was an AD. I mean, he came from ESPN,
no,
right?
He was a business guy.
Right. So
that's, yeah.
So realistically for me, it's just I'm excited at the fact that, you know, he's actually been an AD. He's been in that position. So he's been there since the NIL started, and he's known for fundraising and for, figuring out the best ways to, like what you said, maximize what you have, right? Maximize your home court advantage, maximize trying to get as much NIL money as possible. The marketing and fundraising and stuff is obviously something that I feel like Syracuse lacks compared to a lot of other bigger, well-known schools. And I'm interested to see, his ideas and what he can do to, to kind of get our NIL money so that we can be a little bit more competitive in sports.
Yeah. And, I hope for the sake of argument that this is going to be something that happens fairly quick. And I know things don't happen fairly quick, but with when he was introduced by the chancellor, this is the only thing he's ever known. So is NIL. So he's never had to not deal with it. So there's no adjustment, no hard adjustment that needs to be made. Like he's already built a model for this, and he's just got to implement that here at Syracuse and hopefully be successful with it.
Well, and he understands, right? He's not going to run away from it like Wildpack did. Drag your feet and everything. I have to assume he's going to be going in full bore, right? We talked about it before. I mean, he's set with the coaches as far as in lacrosse, and at Fran Brown, I don't think really has that short of a leash right now. And obviously, with Jet Black over at Syracuse, they won their first round game. They're actually playing against number 1 UConn right now. I think he's pretty set as far as that goes, right? So he doesn't have to spend a lot of time looking for coaches and hiring people.
Just one.
Just one. And so hopefully he can put a lot of his efforts into getting us up to par with these other Power 4 schools.
What is it that these other schools have that we don't? Is it better? This is rhetorical. Is it better management of the shared profit? What is it? Help me out. I'm drawing a blank. Is it profit share? Revenue share. I kept wanting to say profit sharing, but the revenue sharing.
Profit and revenue are different. But
yeah. Well, let's be honest. I mean, it's profit. That is profit. They're not giving money out of their. To some extent, it must be. I mean, they're giving each ACC school $20.5 million. I'd imagine that's profit. But anyway. Yep. Neither here nor there. The revenue share of $20.5 million. Is it better management of that, or is it, deeper pockets from donors within the sphere of the school? Because while on a smaller scale, Toledo, still needs money. I mean, we're talking about a little place in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about Syracuse. Isn't that big, but it's well known.
Right.
So my point is this: where are we going to get the money from now that we haven't got it from to begin with?
I mean, again, it comes down to how hard the other people tried, right?
Well, if you start from a place of you're too good for it, then obviously you've already screwed yourself, which is what happened. Yeah.
Right. But then on top of that, it's like, how much are you marketing the team? How much are you doing fundraising and doing things of that nature? I don't know what the answer to that is, And the answer to your question is pretty much probably is both, right?
Right. It has to be both.
Right. You do need to have the money, but you do still, it's just a little bit different nowadays, right? The coaches now, instead of recruiting high schoolers that you're going to develop and, hopefully have a team and see where they are in 3-4 years. Now you got to put together, teams that, in 1 year, how can we come together? Right. So you can't really be wrong, because you're going to go out to the transfer portal. You're going to pay these people money, and those people that you're getting the money are going to be expected to play the way that they're expected to play to deserve that money, to be deserving of that money. So you still have to, the roster construction, you still need to be good at that. It's just a little bit different now, just recruiting a kid and their parents to come to an institution where they're going to spend the next 4 or 5 years of their life and get a degree. It's, who am I going to get that may only be here 1 or 2 years to give us a chance to make the tournament? And it's a little bit different. And again, being a younger AD who's dealt with this, who, like you said, is more relatable, I think he most likely puts us in a better situation of getting that type of money. So, I mean, again, you got to give the guy a chance. He knows, he's been in this position. He knows what he needs to do. So, I mean, for right now, again, actions speak louder than words. But right now, I have to believe that he is going to do a better job than Wildhack did.
Yeah, I would have to believe so too myself. And Wildhack couldn't be bothered with the presser announcing the new AD because he's busy in Tampa as a selection committee guy over there and watching the tournament. So it's just doing his due diligence there in Tampa. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this isn't
pretty good in Tampa nowadays.
What's that?
The weather's pretty good in Tampa this time of year.
You think?
A little bit.
Springtime in Southern Florida? Well, I guess that's not Southern. It's more Central, right?
Tomato.
Yeah. But, on the Gulf Coast over there, I mean, I guess it's probably okay.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, to your point, I mean, look, the model has changed. This guy knows the model. And it's fundamentally altered everything. Incentives for players and schools and sponsors and things like that is everything. And there was a moment during the towards the end of the conference tournaments where Jim Boeheim was an analyst during halftime. And he said, look, it's plain and simple. And I posted this on Twitter. Mm-hmm. It was from, I don't remember the game. But he was talking about UVA. UVA didn't have any money last year. Now they got a good coach, but they have money this year. And look what they did. They kind of pooped their pants the other night. Was it last night? Yeah. And there's only one ACC team left, which sucks, and it's the last one I wanted to be there. But with that said, the ACC didn't show out this year. But to my point, Jim Boeheim said, "Look, it's as simple as this: how much money can you have? Obviously, you need a good coach." Like I talked about this with my brother. He's like, "Well, you got to have a better coach." I'm like, "Yeah, you got to have money." Okay, you need both of those things. Like I'm not going to talk past you about it. Like money is what drives this, and coaching obviously has to be part of it. But the more money you have, the better opportunity you have to put together a better team. And I don't know what kind of volume this speaks that Providence hires Brian Hodgson as their next coach, right? So if you remember right, I know it seems like forever ago now because when the wind shifts, so does the news in regard to everything going on with college basketball, not just Syracuse, but it was supposedly between Providence and Syracuse. Supposedly, his agent came out and said that Syracuse didn't even offer him. Right? He wanted to clear the air. Well, what does that say that Syracuse didn't even get to offer this dude money, and he was like, I'm not interested in the offer, and goes to Providence. To me, the first thing I thought was, well, our NIL situation is in the toilet and swirling because the dude didn't even get an offer. Mm-hmm. So, what's he need to work with? I mean, is there a magic number? When we talked about some of those numbers and we pulled up on Gemini like a couple episodes ago. Right. So those were the revenue share numbers. So, I mean, just ask yourself if Syracuse is putting in $3.5 million in revenue share and Duke's putting in between 8 to 10.
I feel like we put it in that, but still.
I mean, well, that's what's on record, and that's what I've come up with, right? Even there was even Syracuse sources citing those same numbers.
Right.
So that's just the revenue share, though. My point is if they're putting in 3.5 or whatever, okay, and Duke's putting in 8, That's just one pocket. In the other pocket, you have your donors and your collectives and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So how much more of that money, and this number is impossible to find, as it would be. Mm-hmm. How much more of that money was going to the basketball program? And if Syracuse is putting in 3.5 and Duke's putting in 8, how much more of their deeper pocket is getting put into basketball, right? It's so hard to figure out and know, but you have to imagine with this Brian Hodgson thing that blew up, right? Out of nowhere, just like things do. It's like, well, he couldn't be bothered because he kind of knows where they're at. And I don't think that he wants to have to rebuild it, right?
Right. Well, the first thing that I thought of, again, was that if they did, because Brian Blair said the same thing, that they didn't offer, but that doesn't mean that they didn't have conversations. And we read some things that said that he needed a certain amount of NIL money to be able to compete in the ACC. So,
and how much was it?
I think like 12 to 14.
Right. That's an ass load of money.
And to me, by him not even getting offered, that was basically like they had the conversation. Syracuse said they couldn't do it. And so he's like, well, yeah, then don't even worry about talking about a contract because I'm not going to go there. Meanwhile, Providence, they don't have a football team. And
so they can put all their eggs in one basket.
They can put all their eggs in one basket. And on top of that, the conference that they play in isn't as difficult as the one that we play in. So you realistically wouldn't need as much money to still be competitive in that conference as well, right? So there's a twofold there, right? And it's just, and then I read today that, Syracuse is saying that they're expecting to be in the top third of the ACC next year for basketball and NIL money, which means top 6.
Yeah.
So, what does that mean? Does that mean that they're taking it away from other sports? Does that mean that they found, they found a gold mine somewhere? I don't know what that really means. But that's kind of what they're saying. And so obviously the Autry thing was an experiment. You had an older coach that wasn't used to the NIL that got a shot, and you had an AD that kind of drug his feet when it came to the NIL. And he obviously got put in a crap situation. People can sit here and they can nitpick his coaching and nitpick all the other stuff, but at the end of the day, if you had eyeballs, it wasn't just the coaches, it was the players. And obviously the last couple pressers, Adrian Autry communicated that to everybody. So, once he started opening up and talking about certain things, it was talking about money and the NIL, and it's a different age. And the players got to go out. There's only so many rebounding drills I can have them do. So, again, that comes down to you can give players money doesn't mean that it's always going to work, right? I talked to somebody at work that said that he heard that Kentucky basketball had like $22 million for basketball this year. And yeah, they were a 7 seed. They made the tournament, but $22 million, you're hoping you're going to get to the Sweet 16 if your name's Kentucky. So part of it is the money, but then part of it is choosing the correct players. And then you need to have the coach to get a bunch of players that have egos and are making more money than a lot of the other bench coaches on the bench, getting them all together to play together, for one purpose, not just for themselves. So, there's a lot of different things there in the fold that need to happen to be a really good team or be a national championship contender. And I think right now Syracuse fans would just be happy with making the tournament at this point, right?
Yeah, to say the least. I just, I don't get warm fuzzies yet. But if you want to get all nostalgic and whatnot, they did land a basketball coach. If you've been living under a rock, Gerry McNamara is going to be the next head coach. So,
unless barring something ridiculous.
Right. I guess they're finalizing an agreement, right? But more than likely they'll settle on whatever and he'll come here.
I'm sure.
GMAC took his got a MAC conference championship this year, got himself in the tournament, gave Duke a run for their money.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if there's not a 6+ minute scoring drought, they win that game. They've still played defense, played all 5 starters for 40 minutes. And you and I talked, and I thought that was probably a poor decision, but that's easy to say after a loss. And, you said, well, I think that he thought that was the best shot for them to win is to play all those guys, right? And obviously that's, I think, ultimately what it was. But they were red hot in the first half. I think they went into the locker room with an 11-point lead. And they hung on to it for a lot of the second half. And they got behind and clawed their way back and just ended up just getting away from them at the end and hands on hips and all that. So he did a tremendous job there with what he had. And, I don't remember who it was for Duke, but the goofball comes out at the end of the half and is like, yeah, we look past this team, we can't do that. It's like, come on, obviously. Like, things you don't say out loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like we all knew that, but you don't say it at to begin the half. Come on, what the hell? So, just did a tremendous job this year, right? And they love him there. And he's only been there 2 years, and he's building something, or was building something. A couple interviews, just getting off the bus and things like that. I saw, and he's, he's going to play the game. Say, I like it here, and I'm building something. We're building something here. I love these guys. Blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, if we go back all the way to Mike Hopkins, you think about, well, Boeheim wanted to coach his sons. Remember? So,
yep.
Mike Hopkins leaves. This is the beginning of the end, by the way. This is Buddy's. Was it Buddy's his senior year? That was kind of the beginning of the end, right? So this do what?
The last time we made the tournament.
Yeah, right. So that was like the beginning of the end, like just. But this coupled with that, and this is no offense to Jim Boeheim, because he should get to call the shot. I still believe that.
Yeah.
And coach his kids. But Mike Hopkins leaves, okay? Coaches his kids, stays maybe a year or two longer than he should. After that, Autry comes in. McNamara's an assistant. McNamara ends up getting the Siena job. We all hated seeing that. You remember that?
Yep.
Right? Well,
there's a lot of players, there's a lot of fans that thought McNamara should have got the job over Autry.
I was one of them. So I definitely thought so. And his recruiting ability alone, we knew that he was doing the recruiting for the most part for the team, right? And he was running practice. And that's what I heard. I don't know if that was a thing, but I heard through someone I know in Syracuse. Was basically like, hey, Jim Boeheim ain't running those practices anymore. Gerry McNamara's running practice. It was a barber. So, it goes on at a barber shop. Who knows? So, anyway, playing a huge role, doing all the things, and he kind of gets overlooked for the coaching spot. And, here we are 2 years after that particular year, and we're in a place where we're now hiring him as coach, when you got to wonder what could be right now if he would have had the 3 years to work on this team. And we're not playing like duck, duck, goose. I don't know. I just, it's neither here nor there. I just think it's interesting how all that happened. And here we still are. I think when we last talked about this, we were talking about, enough with the Syracuse bloodline. I want to blow the whole thing up. I'm still there. Like I am. I'm not that I'm disappointed with the GMAC thing, but I'm just like underwhelmed.
Yeah,
I'm underwhelmed.
Well,
and it's nothing to do with him personally or anything like that. I think it really had a lot to do with the whole Brian Hodgson thing. Like the whole thing was like, and you know what's funny, dude? And this is why I try to stay off of Twitter, bro. It's so easily riled up. We talk about it not being real life and all that, right? So it's like, it is what it is, but it's like, it's so easily riled up. Halftime of the Siena Duke game, and Gerry McNamara was head coach of Syracuse. I mean, it was all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I get it, and I know that we were right there, and I mean, I was right there with it, just blow it up and just get away from certain things. But like, honestly, I still think it's all about the money.
It is all about them, absolutely. So why not get the best person that we can with the money we're going to have? And
the problem is we get the best coach we can't get the best coach that we want because of the money.
Well, we can't get the best coach that we want because of the money, but we get the best coach that we can because of the money. And I don't know if you're going to find a diamond in the rough over chancing that over just going with a known commodity.
Yeah.
Like, do you chance it and like pass up on Gerry McNamara again when at the end of the day, you're probably thinking, well, we probably should have done this to begin with. He's still here in New York. You know?
What the problem is, again, is that there's not, okay, you got a new AD. You don't even know what the direction is. You don't know how much NIL money you're getting. Like, there's so many just unknowns that, like, I mean, if you're any type of halfway decent coach that's in the mid majors, I wouldn't come here.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
and when I watched that Siena Duke game, I mean, I don't know how many people I told, like, Gerry McNamara is going to be our next coach. And it makes sense to a point. It makes sense to a point. To me, it was the safest hire that he could have made.
That's what I'm saying. Like, going with the not known commodity instead of risking something on a mid-major no one's heard of.
Well, yeah, because you're talking about an athletic director that's barely been here. Has he been here for a cup of coffee?
Barely.
And right. Yeah. He's got half a mug left. Like, he doesn't know. Like, he's got to take time to get acclimated to the NIL, to the environment, to, okay, where am I going to get money, fundraising, marketing. Like, he's got to figure everything out, with what's going on with Syracuse before. I mean, I'm sure he has some type of plan, but you're obviously not going to be able to finalize, obviously the minute, very small detail stuff that you need to do until you know what you're working with. And with Gerry going to Siena, bringing his team to the tournament, and then having that type of game, I mean, he played Duke closer than any of the games that Adrian Autry's played Duke since he's been there, and he did it with Siena, not Syracuse. So I mean,
think Siena would have beat Syracuse this year.
I'm not going to say anything.
Huh?
I'm not. All I'm saying is
that three ball drops, dude. It's over.
I know, but it's just because of that game and what Gerry McNamara did. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, you see the fire, but in the MAAC, pretty much NIL is all the same, right? So in those type of smaller conferences, coaching does matter a little bit more. Yes, you still need to recruit, and there's probably a little bit of NIL money, but not like what you're about to deal with in the ACC. Do I think that he might be better at getting his guys to play for him? Maybe, because he's a little bit younger, he's relatable, things of that nature. Adrian Autry, it's, I don't know what type of clips you need to pull up on YouTube to see him, but all you need to do is pull up a Syracuse National Championship clip about Carmelo Anthony, and Gerry McNamara is all over that thing, right? So to me, I mean, this hire was a safe hire in a situation where you're still an unknown. He's in unknown territory, Brian Blair. He doesn't know what he's got to work with. By hiring Gerry McNamara on a high note, almost beating Duke as a 16 seed, he's saving himself 3 years. He just bought himself 2-3 years to figure out the NIL. And you know what? Maybe Gerry McNamara does come in. Maybe he comes in and maybe he gets a team to play for him. This guy, Brian Blair, figures out in a year what the NIL situation is, and Gerry McNamara ends up proving that he was the guy all along. But nonetheless, this is good. This is a hire that no one's really going to be mad about. After the Duke and Seattle game, I'm sure there's a bunch of fans that were like, "See, we should have hired Gerry, not Adrian." We have no idea if the results would have been any different if Gerry McNamara stayed or not, because if he would have had the same resources, we just don't know. So if they bring in Gerry and they give him better resources and more money, and he does better, then we still really don't know. It's just Gerry was set up better for success with an athletic director that knows how to make money. So I hope that's what happens. I don't want to see another Syracuse legend like get slammed by Syracuse fans because we're not winning. I don't want to see that again. But this was the safe hire. It bought him time. And I think that it's going to reinvigorate the fans. It's going to put fans and butts in the seats, which is what he was talking about. And obviously, you know, Jerry's going to come in. You know, it can help with retaining, you know, coaches. He's already been here, retaining players. So overall, I mean, you really can't hate the hire. Now, don't get me wrong.
No.
If nothing changes, then I don't think the results are going to change, and it could be just another 3 years of. But I think people are going to have to understand. You know, we learned through Adrian Autry, so now it's going to be make or break. Can we, you know, is he going to get the same resources as Autry did and have the same results, or is he going to get better resources because they learned from Autry and now Wildhack's not there? Now we actually have a guy that knows how to navigate this world now. Of college sports, and then McNamara gets, you know, set up better for success, and then he becomes successful, and we become a tournament team every year again. I don't know.
What are the chances you think that, like, all right, like your first thought when you heard the Jerry thing, like the Gerry McNamara thing, like my first thought was, yeah, that's about what I figured, right?
I mean,
but I wasn't. I'll be honest, bro. I wasn't super excited. That's nothing. That's just me. That's just me being me.
Well, so yeah, and again, I don't know if you're just starting to rub off on me or not. I don't know, but I mean, that's kind of where my head went too, because it was one of two things. Because it was like, okay, did we not get a more proven coach at a higher level because we can't get the NIL money? And Jerry's just going to come in and do the same thing that Autry did? But also it was, okay, well, if you're going to get Gerry, then you need to up it. Because if you don't up the NIL money, you don't up the resources, then honestly, my thought was he's going to do the same thing.
Well, yeah, you can't set the dude up for failure, right? I mean, there's got to be a plan that has been discussed. There's no way Gerry McNamara, this stuff gets this far without a plan being devised, discussed to what the NIL needs to be for them to be successful. I think they know the number. Can they get the damn money?
Get the money, and then can you get the right players, right? Because that could have been something different. I mean, realistically, like, again, I know I keep going back to it because we're talking about the money, but we beat Hofstra in those overtime games. You know, it was
Hofstra and Boston College. We did the
Hofstra, Boston College, Pittsburgh, Houston.
Well, the Pittsburgh came way later, but yeah.
Right, but I mean, we did it prior, but I'm just saying, like, we lost 3 overtime games and Hofstra.
Right.
Like, if those games change, then it's completely different. So it's not like we were that far off, which is what kind of got me, was that, I mean, everyone wants to bang on Autry, but if we really were 11th or 12th or something like that in NIL, we weren't that far off. So you give McNamara a little bit more money. But again, we've learned before, if you come from the Syracuse family, Jim Boeheim coaching tree, then the fans, they're going to have a short leash on you. They're going to expect him to come in, and they're going to then do better than Autry, which, again, the last 2 seasons have been under 500. So it's not like it's a pretty low bar to
Inadvertently, Adrian Autry is like the sacrificial lamb of this thing. Like, not by choice, but like just circumstance.
The circumstance, yeah. The circumstance, the situation that he got put in. The fact that we were, I mean, I don't want to say, a number or something, because I really don't know, but I mean, we had to be one of the last Power Four teams to dip our toe in the damn NIL money. You know what I mean? Like, we were definitely not full bore from the beginning, just in on it. So, you know, we're playing catch up, and we're a private school in the Northeast. We've gone over this before. This guy's going to have to figure out a way to make money, and otherwise it's going to be Gerry. Otherwise, Gerry could be another sacrificial lamb. I'm just hoping that in this case, this athletic director can figure it out before Gerry ends up like Adrian.
Yeah, and you know, there was obviously for everybody, anybody who, especially Joe, grew up in our era, like your heart kind of broke for Adrian Autry in the position he was in, because to my point I made it a second ago, inadvertently a sacrificial lamb because of the circumstances that are and had evolved under him in the past 3 years. He, he maybe could have done better had this thing not evolved that way, but you just felt bad because he is a Syracuse legend, and no one wants to see someone go out like that. And I think that we as fans can be a little bit harsh, but at the end of the day, like, dude can go home and sleep good at night knowing the money that he made and the career that he had. I mean, I don't feel but so bad, right? I mean, I love Adrian Autry. My point is I would hate for this. So this could, so like, to your point, like, this could be either really good. Like, this could be either really, really good, or it could be really, really bad. I mean, there's like not a whole lot of room in between where this doesn't like work out good for Gerry McNamara or bad for Gerry McNamara.
Right.
And you would hate to see the latter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be another heartbreak. It would be just more turmoil amongst fans and all the rest. I mean, this program is seemingly going nowhere right now and has been. We haven't missed a tournament 5 years straight in our lifetimes, Joe. Okay. I'm pushing 50. All right. So we're in uncharted territory. The whole thing. We had a coach for 47 years. Then we get a coach for 3 years.
Right.
Now we're on to another one.
Well, that's the point with, going through the coaching tree. We knew an Adrian Autry or whoever he was going to get hired after Jim Boeheim, that leash was going to be short because, they played for him. They coached with him on the bench. Like, the expectation, it should be a just changing of the guard, the same expectations. We knew that leash was going to be short, which is why I was on the side of blowing it up, because when you blow it up, it's a hard start over. And usually when that happens, fans, they have a little bit more patience. But if you're talking about bringing back half the bench coach and bringing back Gerry McNamara, it's just another coaching tree. A lot of people think he should have been hired over Adrian. He's going to have the same type of leash. He still is going to come in. He's coming into this situation 3 years removed from Jim Boeheim with still the expectations of what Jim Boeheim brought to this program, because it's in the family.
Yeah, they played the zone pretty good against Duke.
No, and that's the other thing. Does he bring the zone back? Was man-to-man, was that on Adrian Autry, or was that something that Gerry McNamara wanted to do too? I don't know. But nonetheless, if you think that his leash is going to be any longer than Adrian Autry's, you're sadly mistaken.
Oh, and no, again, I'm with you.
And I said that, and that's what I said earlier, but I don't want to see another Syracuse legend get slammed by freaking fans on the internet for 2 years because they're not living up to Boeheim's expectations. Yeah,
I mean, like I said, I think it goes one of two ways. And like, how long? Like, if you go 2 years and you don't make it, and it's seemingly no progress, like you're in bad territory. Right. Like you almost have to do an immediate turnaround of this thing, or this in the second year. Beyond that, I don't know if the fans are going to have the patience for even if it's Gerry McNamara.
Well, no, and then that's that's what fans need to understand when we need a big name hire. Oh, we need a big name. Like, they don't understand.
You're not going to get it. Yeah.
You get somebody like you have a Brian Hodgins on damn South Florida. perfectly, perfectly fine with where he lives,
Like,
the
yeah,
competition,
right.
the NIL money he has. If a job doesn't come out to where they're not going to give him the resources, then he's cool with staying with South Florida. He went to Providence because they gave him the resources that he was asking for. Meanwhile, the St. Louis coach, he just signed an extension because he's fine with the resources they have. Fine. Hodgkins, if he were to come to Syracuse and we would have spent the same amount of NIL money, then he would have came here, probably would have been unsuccessful because he couldn't have competed with the other ACC schools and the money they have. And now he's tainting his name and he's going backwards. But for Gerry McNamara, this isn't really going backwards. This is he can come in for 2-3 years if nothing changes. We don't get the resources we need for him to compete. He'll lose, and it's not going to be that difficult for him to go back and get a comparable job like Siena. This Hodgkins guy, if he shows up after what he's done and the resume he's done with South Florida, building himself up, if he comes to Syracuse and he loses 2-3 years like Adrian Autry did, then he's setting himself back. So we have to put ourselves in a position as a school to where we have the resources to where we can get those big name young up and comers, because if not, they're never going to come here. They're not going to come here to go backwards. And it's crazy how much money changes, because before NIL, if you're a South Florida basketball coach and you get a chance to go to Syracuse, hell yeah, I'm going to Syracuse.
Dude goes from South Florida to Rhode Island. Or New England area, wherever the hell that is. Isn't it Rhode Island? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Providence. Yeah. But it's a step up. Big East is a step up from the American Conference.
Sure.
But he did it because they had the resources in NIL for him to be successful.
USF has historically been capable in both sports, football and basketball. For what they are, they're relevant. They're relevant, right. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, before NIL, if you had a chance to go to a Power 4 school as a coach and you were in a mid-major, you were going. You didn't have to worry about the NIL money or I'll just recruit. I can just get players to come in, and then I'll just, invest in the players and get them to get better as the season goes on, because this is our roster, right? Then we're going to recruit, and then this is our roster. This is our roster. But it's no longer that. The game has changed, and a coach isn't going to just go to a Power 4 school just because it's a Power 4 school or because of its history, just to fail, because then they're going backwards.
Right. And, if it's me, I just stay in South Florida. But, hey, you know what? You want to go freeze your ass off? Fine. Well, I guess the last thing really is there's no recruiting class, right?
Yeah.
So, not only is he getting handed a team that's probably in the crapper with NIL funds, but he doesn't even have a recruiting class. So what does he do?
You try to retain as many people that you think that can help you win as possible on this team, and hit the transfer portal, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, he's a good recruit. You're probably going to be able to get some momentum from some of these smaller mid-major schools to be able to transfer. And it really just all depends on who he can retain. To me personally, I mean, I heard Nate Kings is putting in something in the NCAA. Realistically, considering how many people have got those waivers, he should be able to get this. So I do expect Nate Kings to be back. And I mean, I'd be okay with Nate Kings being the 1-2. Keeping Sadiq White, keeping Kiyan Anthony, keeping Betsy.
Well, Kiyan Anthony's staying. You can bet on that now.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I think a lot of people know my thoughts on Donnie Freeman. I just think that he's going to cost too much for what it's worth.
For what he's worth. No offense.
Yeah. So I mean, he's going to have a couple of positions that he's going to have to deal with. And I mean, I feel like he does have probably at least hopefully one guy from Siena he can bring with him. I mean, Gavin Doty from Bolton, I think he was a freshman. He played pretty well.
He's a sophomore.
Sophomore. Well, regardless, I mean,
I know.
And it gives you a good bench player.
6'5", leading scorer for Siena.
Yeah. So realistically, to me, I mean, you got to go out. You got to get a center that can score.
A real center. A real one.
Yeah. and a power forward. I think other than that, I mean, if you would start filling out the bench and everything between who can play the 3 and the 4 with Cayenne, Sadiq White, both the Nates, obviously you probably got to get a backup point guard. But as far as recruiting anybody from high school, I don't think that there's going to be anybody at this point that is going to be.
It's too late,
good enough.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's too late at this point. Yeah. So,
was this coaching staff even trying? What were they relying on?
I have no idea.
That's a foul.
I mean,
that's a technical foul.
If you don't have NIL and you have a coach that seemingly is on the way out the door, then
it's hard to recruit. Yeah. I think
you never know. Luke Fennell from Australia, he was a point guard. I mean, if he puts on some weight and he gets a little bit better, that could be a good backup. I mean, we have decent players that we can retain. It's just, to me, it's going to be going and getting the big boys. Go get the big boys that can compete. We need a center. We need a power forward that can compete and maybe not be our leading scorers, but they can play defense. They got high basketball IQ. Get us double-doubles. I think we'll be okay. But how much money do we have left over to try to retain a lot of these players? And we never know who's going to be back and who's.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to wait to see how this thing unfolds. I think Gavin Doty is a shoe-in to be Syracuse Orange next year. And I don't see how he's not.
Then you could probably get him on the cheap, right? I mean, Siena is over near Albany? So he gets a little bit closer to hometown. Fulton, 45 minutes away?
Fulton, yeah. Yeah.
So, Donnie Freeman, I mean, if you want to try to keep him, I mean, you can't kick a play.
If you can get him for the right price.
Well, yeah.
Look, I mean, yeah, obviously,
but we're going to give you this. And most likely another team somewhere else is going to give him more. So
probably because they concede, the development of Donnie Freeman is a travesty to a certain extent. So, I mean,
and I'm not hating on the kid. It's just,
I'm saying
he missed half the year last year. He missed a third of the year this year. I mean, he's going into his junior year, and he really hasn't even had a full year.
He hasn't had a full year yet. And, like I said, it's like he regressed. He didn't progress. And the development under this coaching staff, I just don't think did him a disservice to some extent.
It was just, again, playing team basketball. We need to have a
right
going to come in. And if you play like this, then you're going to get benched. You need to play like this. And that's it, dude. And I think that Jerry's going to be better at that. But you got to be able to navigate the donors and the amount of money that you give these people. Because, again, he was more just all about, I'm the coach, recruiting, because Siena and in their conference, NIL money really is all. That's not the main point. So there's some other things he's going to have to deal with for sure.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. And, obviously disappointment ensues, but I mean, maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel for all of this. But I think to Joe's point, it's going to be a short leash for everybody. And I've heard rumblings or seen rumblings about Eric Devendorf joining the coaching staff, which is I'm cool with it, right? I mean, I like the fire in the belly of Devendorf,
I mean, look, at this point, obviously, you got to get people. I mean, and this is, I don't go to practice. I don't know what people are saying in the locker room. I don't know anything like that. But I have to imagine that Eric Devendorf is going to be better at relating to younger kids and lighting a fire under someone's ass versus maybe an Al Griffin or some, so.
No offense, but yeah.
No offense, yeah. No, and Devo and McNamara, they played together. So, I mean, again, that's really what it comes down to me, is that, there was just some days where it didn't look like that team wanted to play for the coach, play for the team, play together. They didn't even look some days like they wanted to play. And then you turn around and you watch Siena this year, and it was the exact opposite. Right. Even against Duke. If there's one thing that you saw against that, even Duke, and I watched some Siena games going through their conference tournament, is they were playing together. They were playing for that coach every single time. I don't know if you saw a lot of the videos, but the last two videos of, the semifinals and finals or the championship game of their conference tournament, like the players were like pumped up in the locker room waiting for Gerry to get there. It wasn't like they were like over like on their phones and just celebrating by themselves, and not like they were waiting for Gerry to come in, and Gerry was fired up. And I doubt that we probably even maybe we had one. I mean, I question how many times this year in our locker room after a game
were the students
was our coach, it was our players sitting there waiting in the locker room for coach and fucking dumping water and dumping Gatorade all over him and all fired up. You know what I'm saying?
I'd be willing to bet that it just doesn't seem like this team had that kind of camaraderie, to be honest.
No, exactly.
It was just not there. So
if he can bring that to Syracuse next year, then I mean that's a couple extra wins at least for me. So
I think the best motivation is someone who can fire you up. I mean, what else is there? And
G-Mac and Devo were pretty good at it.
I mean, they are excellent at it. And, you throw in the fact that, Carmelo Anthony's still going to be there. So Devendorf didn't play with Melo.
With Melo, no.
But he came in the year after, right? Wasn't it like the year after?
It was like 2 years after.
Was it? Okay. But either way, there's ties there. I mean, you got three, like, legendary. Let's be honest. I mean, even Eric Devendorf's a legendary player. If not for a shot he missed.
No, that didn't count.
Yeah, that didn't count. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, thanks for the correction. Right. He made the shot. It didn't count. I mean, it's the only autograph of a failed shot or a failed anything that I have in this room. And there's nothing anyone could ever do to tell me that wasn't one of the most amazing moments of Syracuse basketball since I've been alive. Because damn it. It was so close. It was so close. But we wouldn't have what we had if it wasn't for him missing that shot.
And there's a crap ton of other fans that know him and know his name because of that game and that shot.
Right. Exactly. So it's kind of a weird dynamic. That's not something you talk about much. The best shot that was never made, that never counted. Again, I correct myself. But, jumping up on the table and, he's the guy popping off at the mouth. He's the guy that'll tell you he liked popping off at the mouth. I've heard him say it on broadcast. He was no
way to hide
it. Huh?
There was no way to hide it.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, you need that. You need that on the floor though, too. That's where, do what?
Control the motions.
Control the motions. Yeah. And, we had that with, our boy Quadir. And you see what kind of energy he brings brought to NC State. And you got to have a guy like that. I think any team that has at least one guy like that is a route for success. I mean, that's something that can grow. It's infectious. And to have that kind of energy and morale, really. I mean, that's the guy that's like, I'm going to pick on my team, but you can't pick on my team.
Confidence, right? Though, too, right? It's confidence.
Yeah, confidence, cockiness, arrogance, whatever you want to call it. It's sports, right? You use it however you want to use it. And we call it confidence. Other opposing players call it cockiness, right? So, I mean, we all remember Christian Laettner, right? Well, maybe not all of us, but...
Yeah, but players like that can keep other players mentally in the game.
Right. So... hated Christian Laettner. I would have loved if he was on my team, though.
Hell yeah.
Right? So I mean, same thing with Quadir. No one liked Quadir until he went on their team, right? And same thing with Devendorf. And you got to have that, and that'll always be a thing with me. Like I've been saying that for years, like, and I've used Devendorf as the example. And you just got to have someone with some fire in their belly like that to motivate and to just rile people up, man. It just makes you want to run through a brick wall, like going into battle, dude. That's like the best analogy you can get for going into battle with if you got a general like that, that's just firing you up. and you're ready to go in a freaking foxhole for this dude. And you're like, but, no one gets super pumped to get in a foxhole, but some guys can motivate, right?
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, okay, I guess what we're going to do is we're going to play this whole thing by ear as we've been doing. And if any news breaks, we'll try to put a little something together and see what we can come up with. I would have loved to got fan feedback on some of this, but it was just too late, and I apologize. I'll be better about that. So we will see you again soon. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.